Hi guys, welcome to Crypto Coin Guru. We're going to try something new here today and try an audio version of the news. Uh, Hopefully, if this works out, then maybe once a week we'll go ahead and go over the news for the week and see what is in store for us as far as in the cryptoverse goes. There's been a lot of news this week, so let's get started and let's see if we can do this in under 10 or 15 minutes. All right, guys. So, first biggest thing here is exponential growth in cryptocurrency exchanges. What I mean by exponential growth, that they're adding about 100,000 users per day. That's ridiculous, 100,000 users per day. So, major Bitcoin and cryptocurrency trading platforms within the global market have been adding, that's, I can't believe it myself, 100,000 users per day. Many of the leading cryptocurrency exchanges, the one mainly in the US, Coinbase or GDAX for those of us that don't like paying fees, Binance, Bittrex, Bitstamp, and Kraken. And we can add KuCoin to that now as well, have struggled in dealing with the huge surge in demand for cryptocurrencies. Some of these exchanges have had to overhaul their systems to improve their scalability, as we saw with Binance having to shut down new additions or new accounts. They had to shut down people activating new accounts because they had to deal with the scalability issue, while others were temporarily stopped. Some mining was actually even stopped last week as they were adding some new, solutions to this huge influx that we see and the unexpected growth rate. All right. Now, we've all been hearing about this Visa crackdown on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and the debit cards and all that big stuff. But the good news is there has been no big impact. Now, Visa, which is the $270 billion financial service provider and credit card network, basically terminated its partnership with Wavecrest, a Gibraltar-based digital payment processing company, effectively disabling Bitcoin and cryptocurrency debit cards. So who did that affect? 10x, Zappo, Coins.ph, Bitwala, BitPay, CryptoPay. All of these guys were affected. But again, like I said, the good news is there has been no big impact on people not using Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. As we move on, so we've been hearing about China cracking down on miners. Well, the funny thing is Canada, right? In Canada, Quebec is trying to lure cryptocurrency miners at the same time. So Quebec was fishing for tech giants, but caught instead Bitcoin miners. At least that's how David Vincent, business development director at electricity utility Hydro Quebec, describes the results of a campaign launched in 2016 to lure the likes of Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, and all these other big companies that they wanted to build their data centers in the Canadian provinces. So they're basically saying that Quebec has a lot of hydro power, and that is what they're using to lure over miners into their country, which is awesome. Nebraska, yep, Nebraska lawmakers are filing 3 blockchain bills. What does that mean? Public records are showing that on January 3rd, the state senator Carol Blood submitted 3 proposed laws to the Nebraska legislature, one of which would amend the state's money laundering statutes to account for cryptocurrencies, while the other 2 basically focused on applications more broadly. What that means, I have no idea. So basically, we're going to have to wait and watch and see what transpires from that. Another interesting bit of news, Big Pharma is trying to seek DLT solution for drug costs. So pharma is basically using or trying to use blockchain to decrease their costs, their drug costs. Now, this is something that I'm going to be really interested in, since following healthcare is something I keep an eye on very closely. So again, as things transpire, I'll definitely leave a little bit on here for you guys. Another one, CoinMarketCap removes South Korean exchanges, which sent people freaking out this week, and the market caps dropped. Ripple's especially dropped by 20 billion. I have a blog post on the Crypto Coin Guru for you about this, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that. You can go ahead and read that. Um, Also, what happened this week was interesting. Well, was it this week? January 5th. Let's take a look here. Yeah, close enough. Coinbase rejected Ripple integration rumors. That also sent the Coinbase price down. I hate using the word crash because nothing really crashes, it just corrects, right? Because we know all these prices in the altcoins are highly, highly inflated. So I think what's going on right now is a correction where the actual value is now being represented, or we're getting to the actual value as opposed to the inflated perceived value. But going back to this news, CEO Brian Armstrong firmly stated that neither Coinbase nor GDAX have made a decision to integrate any cryptocurrencies or digital assets in the short term. Their statement was released following a slew of unverified rumors that claim GDAX is planning to integrate XRP or Ripple, and they wanted to get to the bottom of that. In other news, which I think is really cool and it's definitely going to help out in the crypto verse here, is Bitcoin becomes a trendy way to buy new homes. So while some people still feel hesitant to accept cryptocurrencies, we are seeing an increasing trend in the real estate markets. Over the last few months, a number of sales of houses and land properties were conducted in Bitcoin and have risen considerably. Um, Also, Ethereum Advisor predicts greater adoption. This can only be good for Ethereum prices, but time will tell, and we are going to keep an eye out on that. Um, on other big news, Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash or Bcash, as Roger Ver hates people saying, had a mix-up, or Overstock had a mix-up, and gave customers huge potential profits. So basically the online retail giant Overstock said in a statement to a customer January 9th that it is quote unquote aware of a significant glitch in its payment system, which let customers pay with Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash interchangeably, accidentally allowing for a huge potential discount, which is really cool. I really wish I knew about this because I would have done a lot of shopping on Overstock. Moving on to more news is South African Business School accepting Bitcoin. So, Red and Yellow, a well known business and creative school in South Africa, believes it is pioneering its payment methods by allowing their students to enroll on a bankroll of Bitcoin. Uh, this is great. Now, if we can get universities to accept Bitcoin, I think that would be awesome. That, as well as loan companies. Um, and as we move ahead, Tommy Lee, or Tom Lee, co-founder of Wall Street strategist and Fundstrat Global Advisors, seems confident that the market is still going through a price discovery process, and he's basically stating that Bitcoin could easily double in 2018. I see Bitcoin going up. We're just in a correction phase, but we'll see where that leads us. But while that's going on, Warren Buffett comes out and admits that he knows nothing about cryptocurrencies. But while he says that, he slams cryptocurrencies, saying that, oh, it's going to crash. This is going to be a bad ending, just increasing to the FUD, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt. But the funny thing is Mr. Buffett is slamming cryptocurrencies while admitting he has no idea in what cryptocurrencies is all about and what the technology is about. So I'm going to take that with a grain of salt and say either Warren Buffett needs to really read up on cryptos or just shut his mouth and stop talking or slamming things that he has no idea about. But again, he has the freedom of speech, and I guess he can run his mouth on stuff that he has no clue about. But hopefully, he too will do a 180, just like, other people who have slammed cryptocurrencies have done recently. So, as we move on, just like I was saying, now Goldman Sachs is admitting that Bitcoin is real money, and it cites that the use cases in the developing world are amazing. White shoe investment bank Goldman Sachs basically admitted that Bitcoin and other digital currencies, mind you, while Warren Buffett here is slamming them, could succeed as real money in developing economies. This is something definitely good, in my opinion. Another bit of news that really got me was Ripple announces partnership with MoneyGram to speed basically money settlements or fiat settlements. This can only mean, well, the news is basically going to hype up Ripple's price. So I'm not one that invests in Ripple. I don't believe in Ripple. I don't think Ripple is where I want my money to be. Maybe for short-term gains as a trader, but not. I don't support the project because, again, we can talk about this for hours and hours. It's not decentralized. It's centralized, and it goes completely against the moral fiber of cryptocurrency. But anyways, without stepping on a soapbox, let's move on here. There's been some news that 2 billion people in the world still do not have bank accounts. I was kind of astonished by this. And so most of them live in low and middle income emerging markets, but even in high income countries, large numbers of people are unable to use banks to meet their daily day-to-day financial needs. So what they're doing is they're moving over to cryptocurrencies, because without a means of banking, they don't have access to convenience, to security, and to interest that banks provide. So what are they doing? They're using the blockchain. Blockchain technology has the potential to help these unbanked and underbanked by allowing them to create their own financial alternatives in an efficient, transparent, and scalable manner. So this is something that's really interesting. We're getting people who don't have banks to start banking in the crypto world. Definitely good news. That and Arizona lawmakers want to let people pay taxes in Bitcoin. This is awesome. A new bill submitted basically in the Arizona Senate would, if approved, allow people to pay their state tax liabilities using Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Again, we're starting to see the mainstream adoption of cryptocurrencies, which is great. How amazing would it be if you could just pay your university in cryptocurrency, or pay your loans in cryptocurrency, or pay your bills in cryptocurrency? As we start to see this mainstream adoption of cryptocurrency use, we're going to start to see scalability issues that will be addressed a lot faster by these different coins. And we'll start to see an increase in the need and want for cryptocurrencies by the average person. While this is going on, though, let's also keep in mind Tennessee is also in on this. Tennessee might also recognize blockchain data through proposed law. Again, here we go. A lawmaker in Tennessee has filed a new bill that recognizes blockchain signatures as legal electronic records. Once again, we're integrating blockchain technology into what we call the real world, and nothing could be further from awesome with this. While we're doing this, since we're already on U.S. states and what they're doing, another U.S. state regulates or sends a hit to BitConnect with a second cease and desist. And obviously the first one you know of, or if you don't, it was Texas. The second one is North Carolina. The North Carolina Securities Divisions basically outlined the temporary cease and desist, stating that BitConnect hadn't registered or basically didn't register to deal or sell currencies or securities in the state of North Carolina. In other global big news, we've got search giant Baidu launches blockchain as a service platform. This can only mean that blockchain prices are going to go skyrocketing, since every time there's some type of news, prices fluctuate. Every time there's good news, prices get overinflated. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to keep an eye on this one. And then back to the U.S., where the finance regulators from crypto working group, says Mnuchin. What Mnuchin says, I basically, I usually don't trust, because the guy says one thing and does another thing. But the news basically has the U.S. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin on Friday stated that the Financial Stability Oversight Council, a government body that assesses financial system risks, has formed a working group focusing on cryptocurrencies. What does that mean to me? That means these guys are trying to screw me out of my money. But that's something, on a whole different note. But let's keep an eye on this. Let's see what the government's doing. Let's see how they're going to try to dip into our pockets, while they're claiming that cryptocurrency isn't a currency, but at the same time they're trying to tax it, and try to get in on it by dipping into our pockets. So only time will tell. But last thing on the agenda for the news docket today is KFC Canada is accepting Bitcoin for fried chicken. Yes, I know. It's stupidity at its greatest. But sometimes we need this type of stupidity for it to reach the mainstream to a greater extent. As soon as Kodak announced that they were doing anything with cryptocurrency, their stock went skyrocketing. Same thing with Hooters. And now we have this wonderful KFC scheme, as I will put it. Though the funny thing is the KFC scheme hasn't done anything to the stock prices for KFC. So the kernel is basically sitting stagnant without seeing any gains. But for the most part, what really interests me is that anytime all these companies, what they're really looking at is the bottom line. So now that they know that when they use the word blockchain or cryptocurrency, that their stock will go skyrocketing, even though they're not really doing much with the actual technology, they're using these buzzwords, which means that we should be really, really careful about who is actually using what, and if they're actually using cryptocurrency. It irks me that it's just being named out there, and for cheap things such as we have the KFC thing, where you can buy a bucket of KFC chicken with a special bucket logo on there, with Bitcoin, which technically you're not buying with Bitcoin. You're buying it through a Visa, since you're using BitPay. So you have to buy the bucket with BitPay, which converts your Bitcoin into US dollars and is backed by Visa. Bearing in mind that Visa decided to, earlier we talked about this, that Visa is pulling away from crypto, I guess, cryptos as payment methods. It's done so in Europe, but we need to keep a close eye on this, because this is something that, when one domino falls, either they can all fall, or maybe this is just an isolated event that happened in Europe for whatever reason that hasn't come out or we haven't truly understood yet. But with all that in mind, that was the news. And I apologize, we did go over 15 minutes. We're at 18 minutes right now. But that was the news for the week. Some things to think about, to mull over while you're making your investments and putting money into the cryptoverse. Maybe it helps you better understand why the prices are fluctuating up and down. Why prices are getting so inflated when people are claiming they're using block technology, but then when reality hits that they're not, the price goes crashing, or I hate using the word crashing, the price readjusts back to what its actual value is. So we're hoping that we start this new segment here where we can go over the news once a week, the weekly news, and get you guys caught up on possibly what's going on with blockchain and blockchain technology around you in the real world. And hopefully that's going to help make better investment decisions on your part. If there's anything else you want to see, please contact us. Let us know. We're here trying to help you guys out and ourselves out by seeing what's in the news, by doing this service. So once again, this is Crypto Coin Guru signing out. CCG out.